So what is phrasing? The script mark for phrasing is an arrow above the phrase you want to read faster and underline below the you want to speak slower. So underlining, we know from our keyboard, is easy. We may not be able to find the arrows. Usually in a PC, it's in symbols. But if you have to change the script marking for your purposes and because you can't find the arrows, in the manuscript that you're going to prepare for me, you can set up a key saying, for example, and there'll be directions for this, you want to highlight the phrase in blue or something if you want it to go faster, okay? Because you may not be able to find the arrows. Okay, and I want to delete it. Well, we'll do, you get the idea. Okay. All right. So we're going to underline and we're going to put arrows above in the second set of sentences. The first thing is, if you put your pauses first, it will help you. So you can use the mechanics. So there are colons here, and I'm going to use that as a pause. You don't have to add that, but you'd have to remember it if you were reading. So I can just use one pause. Look for my new cookbook. It should be on the cushions. And maybe I want this part slower and everything's a little bit odd. Sorry, they're not straight lines. But you have the idea that the first part of the sentence is slower, second half is faster. Look for my new cookbook. It should be on the cushions. Or I can even reverse it and hear how it sounds. So, oh, I put the wrong, sorry guys. So I'm going to take this first part faster. I know the colon is my pause. Look for my new cookbook. It should be on the cushions. I can even take what I did there, pause. It should be on the cushions. So you now have pauses and you have slower and faster phrasing. So here's a comma. You can use that as a pause. You don't have to, but the mechanics have to be there for grammar. But if you wanted to take a pause there and take a pause there, and if you want this slower and you want this faster, oops. Okay. To see the rainbow, raise the roller blinds and open the window. If you wanted to go not that slow, to see the rainbow, raise the roller blinds and open the window. I could have taken a pause there like I just did. So at this point, you need to know how to read and incorporate the use of 1 second and 2 second pauses and create tempo through faster and slower phrasing. So I'm going to erase this. Remember, today we're learning script markings. So for homework, you're going to continue, either redo sentences 1 and 2, but you definitely want to continue 3 through 10. And listen back. If you record yourself, that really teaches you to hear your voice being expressive. Okay, more script markings. You certainly can, as the book has other suggestions for you to hear how radio commercials use pauses. Radios don't use too many pauses, but they do faster and slower phrasing. So that was an exciting, while you're listening to your Netflix shows. So the next thing is pitch. So those are the 8 notes in our speaking. So the script marking for pitch, there's 4. We're going to go over the first 2 right now. These also you probably cannot find in your normal keyboard. So when you work on your manuscript, you'll have to substitute these script markings in your key because you may not be able to find these symbols. But these are the ones you'll be tested on because that's what the correct symbols are. But when you're handing me or submitting to me a manuscript, I understand that everyone can't find these. I'm unaware of where they are in, your Macs. In PCs, they're under symbols. That's how I typed the book. Okay, so you place an arrow before the word you want to raise your pitch. Now, we're not going to go, I remember. No, that's too abrupt. When we raise pitch, we go from 2 to 3, 3 to 4, or 3 to 5, but we don't do anything abrupt. And then we place an arrow before the word we want to lower. And then we'll talk about this other one in a minute. So right here, I have raised on remember. So I'll just test it out, remember, and then I'm going to go back down, how, and then even lower, thought, how, thought. Okay, up on over and over. Okay, so here we go. I remember how he thought about it over and over, how he led a happy life. And we'll do that in a minute. I'll repeat. I remember how he thought about it over and over, over and over. Here it went down, down, down. How he had a happy life. And the next one, I won't do the one we didn't learn. I'm just going to go up and down. The balloon sailed up and away into the wind. And right now, we are learning how to incorporate script markings, read them, and apply it to our voice. So we don't have to put in very, very many, but we do have to incorporate it. So again, I'm going to start using my pauses. I probably will use them on the commas. It's easier that. And I'm going to add one here because it's a lot of words without a pause. So I'm going to add one there. Now, I'm not going to worry about softer and faster and slower phrasing right now because I'm just learning and I want to separate what slides sound like with my voice. So I'm going to, after I take a pause, it's very easy to raise my pitch because you took a pause. And maybe I want to come down here and go up here. Oops. It's just easier after you take a pause. So you'll hear that. So I'm going to read the sentence without any expression. After class, remember to forward the silly, preposterous paragraph to the philosopher. Now I'm going to read it with the pauses. After class, remember to forward the silly, preposterous paragraph to the philosopher. Now I'm going to add pitch. After class, remember to forward the silly, preposterous paragraph to the philosopher. Totally different than the first one. I'll read the first one again. After class, remember to forward the silly, preposterous paragraph to the philosopher. Now I'm going to add it with just pauses and pitch. After class, remember to forward the silly, preposterous paragraph to the philosopher. Added much more meaning. Okay, I'm going to do another one so you can hear my voice, but more importantly, it's I'm going to take my pauses. Whoops. You always have to click and then write. And I'm going to go down here. Okay. So again, I'm going to read it with no meaning. I went to visit her favorite relative in Boston. Now the pauses. I went to visit her favorite, oops, sorry, I missed a pause. I went to visit her favorite relative in Boston. And now I'm going to add pitch. I went to visit her favorite relative in Boston. Sometimes it gets confusing when there's two script markings here. So even when you get used to it, you can use the pitch down, and that also may reflect for you a pause down as well. It's up to you. It doesn't want to. So I went to visit her favorite relative in Boston. So it's like a pause plus a pitch down if you wanted to save yourselves, because sometimes it gets a little confusing with the script of double script markings. But then again, when we present manuscript speaking, we usually practice it 15 times to get used to it, so it sounds familiar and you don't have any choppy behaviors as we discussed as a fault, repeatings, hesitations. So your homework is going to, whoops, your homework is going to add a lot of scratches. Now, your homework is going to add you to complete adding pitch change here. Okay. Now, do sentences 1 through 5. 6 through 10, we're going to incorporate the use of slides. So I'm going to go back one page and teach you what a slide is. Slide is the pitch change within a word. So it's represented by this curved arrow. And if you're, you know, sometimes when I give presentations, I still use paper copy of my notes. And I sometimes even just, actually more than not, I manuscript with my pen. I script mark with my pen. It's better for me. It's what I'm used to. You know, most of your generation composes on the computer, so this is quite easy to incorporate the script markings. So what a slide is, a pitch change within a word going lower. So let's look at this. So we take the vowel sound, we elongate the vowel sound and drop our pitch. So regularly the word is life. Pitch change down, life. I take the vowel and I lower I, that's pitch change up, I. Let's take happy, 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 happy. So I exaggerated that so you could hear it. Realize happy, 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 happy. I'm just going to use other words. Go, go. That's pitch change lower. Go, go. Pitch change higher. Off, off, off. So the Spanish language already has it incorporated. So if you speak more than one language, Spanish and Italian, Portuguese, you already know how to do this. Balloon. So instead of balloon, balloon. Okay. Wind, wind. Okay. So now I'm going to read the sentence with the slides. I remember how he thought about it over and over, how he led a happy life. The balloon sailed up and away into the wind. And it's different than the balloon sailed up and away into the wind. The balloon sailed up and away into the wind. Much different. So when you're reading for homework, number 6, you want to incorporate, again, you don't have to do everything all at once because you're just listening and learning. So I do put the pauses in because it helps me slow it down.